Colleen Echohawk, we are delighted to have you here. Boot and I are big fans of the way that Seattle invites people to bring their best selves. We have some amazing people running for mayor. You're one of them.
Yeah.
We're going to go back and forth and ask a bunch of questions and
Great.
get
Well,
to know
I can't
you
wait.
more.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh God, our pleasure. When did you decide to run for mayor? Who was part of that decision?
Yeah, I started thinking about it in November, December. I had had these experiences where I'd be on a Zoom call, and then I would get, it was like people on the call were collaborating together, and I'd get these direct messages like, what do you think about running for mayor? Are you thinking about running for mayor? You know, like the rumors started happening, and then I would get, a lot of people asking me and encouraging me to do that. I also, people who helped me actually come to the conclusion were good friends and family. I have a really amazing family. And so we started talking about it and thinking about it, and there was just a consensus of that if I have the skills for this moment, that I had to. My work has been around homelessness. I've been involved in police reform work. I co-founded the Equitable Recovery and Reconciliation Alliance about almost a year ago now. And all those things are the most important things in our city right now. And so my family were like, you have these skills for right now. This is the time. And then I also called some elders. I called some elders in my family and just, got their thoughts and opinions. And there was a consensus that this is the time. And I just have jumped into it and am enjoying it tremendously.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to.
What do you think makes a good mayor, Colleen? And when you think about a good mayor, who are some people that come to your mind as examples?
Yeah. Well, I think a good mayor needs to be someone who loves the people, at the heart of it. Like if you don't care about the people who are in the city and love them and appreciate them, then I think it's going to be hard to really connect with the felt needs of our community. And I think that a good mayor also needs to be someone who has some expertise in the issues that are the most important for the city. Again, that's part of the reason I'm running, right? Is because I feel like I have some pretty strong expertise in some of the most important issues in our city. I also think a good mayor is someone who can bring people together. My whole career, I've been so fortunate to work with people, bring people together who maybe hadn't worked together in the past. And I think especially now in our city's really asking for that. They're saying, hey, it's time for us to come together. We've gone through some really hard things together. I don't know about you guys, but COVID was not easy, and our city had to go through a lot of really hard things. And prior to that, we had Trump. So I think our city's ready for someone who can build consensus, build partnerships and relationships, and that's something I'm really excited about doing. And as far as other mayors or just other leaders?
Just have other mayors. Yeah,
other mayors. I mean,
anywhere.
I'm a huge admirer of Norm Rice.
Yeah.
I think that he had a lot of tremendous issues and that were in front of the city that he was very successful at, and also as a black man to be to kind of negotiate through what that means for our city to have a black man as a leader. I think he showed incredible strength. I'm just a huge fan of him and hope to emulate his leadership as mayor.
Excellent. What is a pressing issue facing Seattle that has not received enough attention thus far in the mayor's race? Not enough attention.
Not enough attention. I'm gonna say homelessness. I know that it is one of the biggest issues, but I don't think we still have recognized that it is a humanitarian crisis. I'm always gonna say homelessness when we have babies who are sleeping outside in tents and in cars and on the streets. And that is the reality. That is the reality of where we're at right now in our city, one of the most prosperous cities in the country. We have children who are sleeping outside. We have elders. We have, 70 and 80-year-olds who are sleeping outside on our streets. Unacceptable. And so I don't think we can talk about it enough. I don't think we can have enough people who are crying out for justice for those communities. It's why I'm running for mayor. And even though we know about it and we talk about it, we have to do more. And so that's why it's the thing I think that still needs to be talked about and understood at a greater level.
Thank you.
What's your relationship with Amazon as a consumer? Do you buy a lot? Are you a Prime member? Are you a former or current employee or a shareholder?
Yeah, so I'm a Prime member, and I've been a Prime member for a very long time. I remember kind of understanding what it meant and thinking, wow, it's actually a good deal because I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. Last night, my little puppy like ripped apart my shoelace from my tennis shoes that I walk in every day with the puppy. So went to Amazon and made the click. And here's the thing I think about Amazon. I love innovation, and so I have a lot of appreciation for their innovation. And of course, I think that they could be doing some things better. I think the way that they treat their workers could be better, but I do appreciate the innovation and absolutely have used it and been a Prime member for a very long time. Probably in the first 6 months that they announced it, I was a Prime member.
Thank you.
So I'll follow up on that.
Yeah.
Innovation without
Yeah.
taxation can create some cognitive
Right.
dissonance,
Yeah.
and I think the amount of taxes paid by people like Jeff Bezos has created a little bit of that among people who
Yeah.
still might be Amazon Prime members. There's also been a tremendous accumulation of wealth and a dramatic growth in poverty and the unhoused in our
Yes.
region. This is not the result of just one company's presence,
Yeah.
but Amazon, as an example, has a lot of power in the region and the nation, and it has a dramatic impact on the cost of living in Seattle.
Yeah.
With all that said, what strategy would you use to address the growing inequalities we're experiencing?
Wow. I mean, we have to do more. Our city is quickly becoming a city where you have to have a tremendous amount of wealth or you're on the streets. Like there's no the in-between space is missing. And so when I think about the inequities and inequalities in our city, I think that our business community needs to be responsible and accountable. During the civil unrest and the protest movement that happened over the past summer and throughout this year, Amazon and other companies in our city put banners on their website that say Black Lives Matter. And if you say that, in my view, then you believe that Black people deserve to live in the city. And that means an investment into affordable housing for our communities and for Black and Indigenous and people of color communities. I've been building affordable housing for the past 5 years, and I can tell you that it's not easy. Every step along the way, there are barriers, and we need investment from business and philanthropic communities and individuals to build out the affordable housing that we need in the city. My vision for Seattle is that every single person in the city has adequate housing, and not just adequate housing, beautiful housing, and that they can truly enjoy this city. I think people move here for a reason, right? It's gorgeous. This is a beautiful, wonderful city. I chose to live here. I didn't grow up here. I chose to live here. And I think that every single person who works in the city deserves to live here and deserves to enjoy it just like the rest of us are doing right now. So that is my vision. I think that we need to be accountable to the words that we say and the things that we believe in. And I think we need leadership to show us the way forward, that this is not impossible, that business can prosper in the city and can contribute to the well-being and shared prosperity for every single person who lives in the city. That's the vision, and that's where I hope to lead us to.
Thank you. What do you think is the best run department in the city of Seattle? And when you are our new mayor, which department will need your attention and focus early on? Setting aside SPD for a minute, because we're going to come back to that.
Thank you for that one. I'm going to say HR needs to have some support and help. And the reason I say that is we have heard very recently of employees who maybe are whistleblowers or, they have some grievance and they are harassed and they are not treated with the kind of respect that we need to treat people. And so I'm hearing that all over from people who work inside City Hall, and we hear it in the media. So I think that HR is an area that I want to really focus on, and pay some attention. I think that our workers in City Hall need protection and support. And if there's something going on, that they should not be harassed. They should be listened to, and the processes played out. So is there a second part to the question? I just got really into the HR piece.
The best run department?
The best run department. Wow, I think that there's some amazing city employees and directors of departments. So I'm struggling to think of which one I think is the most best run. This is a tough question because there's so much upheaval in City Hall right now. There's interim directors. I work closely with Human Services and love the work that they do. And however, they have had an interim leader for over at least a year and a half, or longer than that, right? Since Catherine Lester left. So I think that the way I want to answer that is that there are employees in Human Services, in Seattle, in SDOT, in Seattle Public Utilities, who are doing such wonderful, wonderful jobs. As mayor of the city, I want to support them in their work. I also want to hold leaders accountable, and I want to make sure that the directors of all of the departments are connected to the felt needs of our community, and our focus on the goals of equity and racial justice, and finally, I'll say, and infrastructure. I've been the executive director of a nonprofit for a long time. If our infrastructure of our city doesn't work, then we can't live out our goals of wanting to be a truly affordable city, a city that is focused on our equity goals. So infrastructure is very important to me. I'm embarrassed and saddened by the bridges that are not functioning right now or need a lot of work, and we haven't built up that infrastructure there. So that's a priority for me. So I think that our Seattle employees are excellent, and I look forward to being their leader.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck in West Seattle tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. We get 45 seconds for that one. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
totally.
gosh, 45 seconds on the West Seattle Bridge. Okay.
New York City just finished ranked choice voting election. King County had ranked choice voting right now, and thanks to Councilmember Zahale and others, looks like we will.
Yeah.
Who would you pick as your number 2 for mayor, assuming Colleen Echohawk would go number 1?
Oh gosh, that's a very hard question.
You know them all.
Number
You're
2,
running
I
with
do-
them.
I
You
know
spend a
them
lot
all.
of time with them.
Yeah, I think Justin Farrell, incredibly smart person. I think one of the things I like about her is she's a policy wonk in a way that I'm not.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I think she's really smart, has a lot of good ideas. I also think she hasn't worked in City Hall. I think that this city is begging and crying out for new leadership. What I hear from all over the city is that we need new faces or as Justin would say, fresh faces in City Hall, or as I would say, a new generation of leadership, and that's what our city's looking for.
Thank you.
I'm excited about ranked choice voting too, by the way.
Yes.
Very supportive of it.
Great. So let's shift to policing.
Sure.
Policing has become an extremely divisive issue in this city and around the country. What is a roadmap for policing that you think would be compelling to all of the communities in Seattle?
Yeah. It's such a big, important one for our city. I was so disheartened over this last summer, with the impact of Seattle police on our protest movement. Our community was crying out for justice. They were clear. There were thousands and thousands of people down there in the middle of a pandemic. And so the actions of, tear gassing a child, running over someone's head on a bicycle, it was like Seattle Police Department was out of control. And there's reasons for that. There was a 2018 contract that pushed back a lot of the accountability that the Seattle Community Police Commission had been pushed for in our 2017 accountability, right? So there was all of these actions that were taken over the summer that were part of a bad contract. And when we think about moving forward, I have a couple of really important things. One, negotiating a new contract that holds Seattle Police Department accountable. We also have the opportunity to hire a new chief. This is something that I get so excited about being mayor. If I get to hire a new chief of police, you guys, we will hire someone who will hold accountability and will not allow for bad cops to be on the street. You know, I'm a pragmatic person. I've been working as an executive leader for a long time now. We have a contract that's not good for our city, but can we hire a chief of police that says, if there's a cop out there who's been disciplined and has gotten through the process and eventually ends up at the arbitration board, and we know what happens, like at the arbitration board, it can come right, that officer can come right back into the Seattle Police Department. The chief of police I will hire will never allow that person to go back on the streets of Seattle and interact with the public. They're behind a desk. And that is something we can actually do. And that's what I'll be asking for our chief if I get to hire a new chief of police. It is time that Seattle leads the country. You know, we have a consent decree. Let's absolutely fulfill everything that we have to do for the consent decree, and then let's use that as a platform to transform Seattle Police Department, transform our public safety, and create systems of community care and wellness that ensure every single person in the city is safe and is being able to prosper in the city. This is it's time, and I'm ready to lead the way.
So if you're putting together some people to get counsel from in that selection for a new police chief, who would you call really early on? Whose advice would you need to make such a consequential decision?
Absolutely, the Community Police Commission. I can tell you in past searches, the Community Police Commission has been kind of sidelined. They've been able to be part of the committee. I want to ask the Community Police Commission to help lead the way. So I will ask them to help co-chair the committee. I will also be reaching out to other community-led organizations. You know, the Community Police Commission is one way that we have civilian oversight, but I'll also be reaching out to our Black-led organizations who we know that, you know, our Black community is over-policed, and also the Indigenous communities. I'll be asking for them, for their leadership there, to help us guide a chief of police search that has never happened in the city before. I am so excited about having that opportunity, and of course we'll have, you know, folks on the committee who are from the business districts, but it's important for me that we have community at that table who are from the neighborhoods, residents, the civilians who will help be that civilian oversight as we head down towards true accountability with our Seattle Police Department.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So shifting to think about our region.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your vision for building a more effective partnership with King County as the mayor of the city of Seattle, and also about other cities in the county? And how would you go about building a vision for a more equitable and cohesive region? Yeah,
great question, because we know that there are many issues in our city that are regional and are part of our county issue, right? I'm thinking about homelessness at number one. One of the things that I'm very proud of is I was on the All Home Coordinating Board for a very long time, which is it's a regional governing board around homelessness, and we had to seat the new regional homeless authority, and I've been able to work with the mayor of Auburn and elected officials in Shoreline and in Renton and in Bellevue, and I think that there's something that I have found in those relationships, and those relationships what I've found in those relationships are people that want to see our communities have equity, that want to see that want to understand racial justice in a deeper way. And so I think that our relationship with King County and the executive and the council members is going to be so important for us as a city and as a region. I'm delighted to have pretty I think, good relationships already with the council members and with the executive. I've worked with them extensively on housing and homelessness and other issues in our city, and look forward to building on those already established relationships to be the equitable, the equitable and the equitable region that we want to be.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Colleen.
Yeah.
Colleen, we first met each other kind of building a little additional capacity and supporting really wonderful companies in Seattle,
Yeah.
Pacifica and others, and they play a really important role in the fabric of our city. I'll take Pacifica off, Pacifica Law off the table, but what mid-size or small Seattle employer do you admire and why, especially when it comes to their approach to equity, employee compensation, and diversity?
Oh, wow. Mid-size.
We're small. I mean, just
small.
do, let's say, 20 to 500 employees.
20 to 500 employees. I'm just going to take a second to think about it because I'm just spacing out at the moment.
That's what happens. It's
I know. I'm like,
late in the day.
I cannot think of one company at the moment, but I will in just one quick second. Let's see. I'm going to choose because I really love this this group is Argosy Cruises.
Huh?
When I first started getting to know Argosy Cruises, they came to me and said, "Listen, we have I'm forgetting the name of the island, but they go out there and they have like a little Lake Island. Yeah, they have a little show and they hire Native people.
Yeah.
And they said." We worry about this. Are we doing this in a way that truly honors Native people? And are we doing this in a way that is equitable? And what do you think? And I got to know Kevin and Carrie and just really admire the way that they try to do their work. And it's a kind of awkward thing, but they do a good job of talking to the local tribes. And I just think that they kind of exemplify the way to not do cultural appropriation, and to make sure that their work is honoring to the people that they're working with, and I also love the tourism industry here in Seattle. I'm excited about the tourism industry because we know that people are in the U.S. are not going to be able or going to be as excited to travel outside the U.S. So that's something I think we really need to encourage. And as mayor, I can't wait to be an ambassador for Seattle and tell everyone what a great city this is, and how they should visit, and how they should, and the opportunity to incubate small business, right? Like, I think that there are folks out there in the BIPOC community who could do such amazing tours of Seattle, could be creating new businesses, and I just am excited to get on to have the reins of OED and do some really good things and work with you, Bukta, to make it happen.
If we talked with the people who worked for you, what would they identify as your best and worst qualities as a manager and a leader?
Yes. Well, one of the hard things about leading the Chief Seattle Club was leaving the team. I have a wonderful, wonderful team, and I think that the best and worst quality probably would be the same, and that I'm an innovator and a hustler. So I see an issue and I'm like, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to go? Let's go, and get it done. So that's good, but it also can be bad because we got to sometimes make sure that our capacity is there, that HR is going to be able to make it through hiring, 10 new people and all of those things. And I think that urgency is because we do work. My work has been in human services, and I cannot sit back or allow for human suffering to happen. That's why I'm running for mayor, and I will take that same urgency to City Hall. We're the campaign that has a concrete plan to serve our homeless community, and I am just so eager to get in there and to take that urgency into City Hall. And I think that even though it is also a weakness sometimes, because but it's also something I know about myself, and will build out a team around me to make sure that we are handling it in a good way. But I think the city is ready for someone to do bold transformational work, and that's been my legacy. And that sounds weird to say, but it is. It's what I'm known for.
Yes, you are.
And my team would back that up.
Please describe your strategies for a more equitable recovery, and what does that look like? How would you go about kind of energizing the city in the way that you've spoken about so far?
It's one of the reasons I'm running for mayor.
Yeah.
I remember kind of looking at the data and just looking at the people of the communities of color that I know and love who were impacted by COVID in such a horrific way.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a discussion one time with a friend of mine, a white male, and saying, I am, I can't remember the number now, but I am so much more likely to die of COVID than you are. If we were both to get COVID at the same time, I'm more likely to be hospitalized, I'm more likely to die. And we know that other communities of color felt that same thing. And we also know that in our city, health equity was already a huge issue. Mm-hmm. That Black women who go to have babies in this city are 5 times more likely to die. We cannot continue as is. We cannot go back to normal. And so an equitable recovery for me will be focused around some health equity. I'm very, very focused on ensuring that we be a city that live out our values, our progressive values in a city that has incredible Western medical systems, that we become a city that has that health equity it is changed radically in the future. So that is something that's super exciting to me. Other things that I look forward to having opportunity to lead is the Office of Economic Development. Our Black, Indigenous, people of color communities have such brilliant, exciting ideas that have not been heard because they have not had a leader who is actively asking them and looking for them and calling them to these opportunities. And that's what we will do if I am elected mayor. And I just think that this is, you've heard me say this is a generational opportunity. This really is. Seattle should be leading the way around equity and racial justice, and I'm excited to be that leader.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is your vision for building a city where everyone belongs? The entire broad range of all of our communities here.
Yeah, that's a big issue. I think that we are a city right now because of the economic disparity that we don't always feel like people belong. There's so much misunderstandings and lack of connection. As mayor, I hope to really break through that, especially around in neighborhoods. I think that our neighborhoods could be resourced and given strategies to get to know each other and be with each other. I think that I come from a community where we know each other through food and through family and through gatherings. So I think that as we come out of COVID, we should be celebrating. We should be closing the streets down, having food and being with each other. And I think one of the gifts that I've been given by the Creator is that ability to bring people together and know that they belong. One of my uncles, who has since passed away, but is a Lakota man, he taught me this. He said, Colleen, one day you're going to get to talk to a lot of people. And he saw it in me before I knew it. And he said, you need to know that when you look in that person's eyes, when I look in your eyes, Thomas, and I look in your eyes, Bukta, that he goes, you need to remember that you belong together, that you are now connected, that you are family with each other. That is how I try to live my life. Every single person that comes into the mayor's office, I want them to know how important they are, how significant they are in the city. I want there to be babies in City Hall. I want to open the doors so that people know that they belong in City Hall. The City Hall is not just for the powerful or for business owners or for people that have been elected, but it is for children to have playtime together. It is for mothers to gather. It is for the mayor's office to be open to those folks who haven't felt like they could ever be in the mayor's office, because that's the kind of leader that I am. No matter who you are, where you come from, if I'm looking in the eyes, we belong together. And that's my philosophy. That's the way that I will lead in City Hall.
Beautiful.
Tomorrow, you'll head over to West Seattle for a forum. You'll have the vibrant neighborhoods of Delridge and White Center asking questions. You've been up to Lake City, you've been to Bitter Lake. There's probably not a corner of Seattle that you're not talking to people. But one thing that we've heard from people at the Cloud Room and people in our greater environment, I look at Nam, I look at Jordan, I look at Clara, Lucky, Lucy. The people in this room are actually undecided. There's a lot of people who don't know exactly why or who they're going to vote for someone. So if someone's debating between you and another candidate, why you?
Yeah, well, great question. I think the number one thing is I'm a good leader. I'm a good leader. I have been in the situations where you have to make those hard decisions. You have to look someone in the eye and go, you know what, I'm not going to agree with you on this one at this point in time, but I respect you. I believe in you. We're going to find another way that we're going to agree. I've made those hard decisions, and will continue doing that on our city. And I will be the kind of leader that notices those people that have been left behind. And I think our city needs that right now, because we have a lot of folks that voices have not been heard. The other thing I would say is that the biggest issue in our city right now is homelessness. It is. I've talked to people, like you said, all over the city. The number one thing people say is like, listen, I want to support the homeless community. I want to do something to help get them off the streets and get them into security, into housing. But no one's talking. No one's telling me what to do. I have no idea what the plan is. And I'm also frustrated because my kid needs to play baseball in this field, and there's a tent there, and we're all kind of stressed, and it's uncomfortable, because that's all that field was created for. It wasn't for tents and for people to sleep overnight. We have to have a leader who is not just another elected official, but someone who has the actual expertise, who has done this work before, who has built out affordable housing, and knows and loves our homeless community. That's the kind of leader we need right now, and that's where I'm coming from. I have a plan. I know the people and the communities that we need to engage, and I'm ready for it. So those are the top two things. I think the final thing I'll say is I think Seattle's ready for a mayor who loves people, who enjoys being with the community, who's excited to break dance with Lucy. Even though I'm a terrible dancer, I'm always enthusiastic. I'm always that person at the wedding who's out there just like jumping around, but I'm not a good dancer. However, I will be with you and enjoy community and people even when we don't have a lot in common. This is the time for Seattle to come together, and I think I'm the right person for that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Colleen, we
thank you.
know how busy you are, how many people want to talk to you right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending the time with us. We appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for setting this up. It's been really good to be with you both.
Our
been
pleasure,
great to
Lucy,
be
and
here. And
I'm
with
honored to be with you.
Yeah.
And Lucy is our spiritual leader.
Yes.
She will take us to great places.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.